Here on Riders Range, we've tested both the Glock 44 22 caliber pistol and the Taurus TX22. I'll put links at various times in the upper corner up here, so you can get right to those videos if you want. And if you go back to the Glock 44 video, you know that we ran 544 rounds through it, several different kinds of ammunition. Mostly good, a couple not so good, but that was mainly ammunition related. But one of my main complaints about the Glock versus the Taurus, well, I had several, but one was the capacity of the magazine. 10-round magazines. Well, Glock said they couldn't get it to work with anything greater than a 10-round magazine. I don't necessarily agree with that, but it's kind of frustrating to be limited to 10. So, enter ProMag. And they make 18-round magazines, which puts it 2 ahead of the Taurus 16-round capacity. And we ordered a couple of them. We're going to give them a try and see how they work. So, stay tuned to Riders Range, and we're going to see how these ProMags work out. So these are capacity 2 more than the Taurus, which should give it an advantage. And they look pretty much the same from the back. However, the ProMag is just a little bit longer, not a lot, than the Glock mag. Of course, they're the same thickness. Have to be in order to fit into the magazine well. Magazine catch area is a little bit different. Window is a little bit longer, of course. Let's see, the followers are a little different shape. The follower on the Glock mag orients the rounds to the left. The follower on the ProMag orients them a little to the right. It's got a larger mag hold or slide hold open notch on the ProMag than it does on the Glock. I'll see if that makes any difference. And other than that, they're pretty similar. Oh, the buttons to load the magazine and pull the spring down, the follower down, are much larger on the Glock, and the spring is fairly easy to compress all the way to the bottom on the Glock 10-round mags. Buttons are much smaller on the ProMag, and very difficult to get the springs all the way down to the bottom on the ProMag. I'm guessing that they're both the same here. It takes a lot of force to get that down. We'll see how those stack up once I try to get 18 rounds in there. So maybe this will put the Glock back on somewhat of an even keel, although again, there are a number of other things about the TX22 that are advantageous compared to the Glock. Price being one, threaded barrel being another. Reliability, we'll see where that goes. So this did work well when we did our testing. We put 544 rounds through it. The Aguila, or Aguila, however you wish to pronounce it, worked very well. 40 grain bullets. The 36 grain CCI mini mags also worked very well with these out of the standard 10 round mags. So we're going to load up a magazine of CCIs, 10 round, and a 10 round mag of the Aguilas, and an 18 round mag of each, and see how they work. And actually we'll probably go through several rounds, several magazines full of the 18 rounds, and take them outside of the range and bring it back in and do a wrap up. And before we go outside, just a quick look at the difference in magazines here. Here's the ProMag with 10 rounds in it. Here's the Glock mag with 10 rounds in it. You can see there's a significant difference in how far down they go, because they're actually, you can see it that well in the camera, they're staggered inside of the ProMag, as you expect they would be, whereas the columns are only slightly staggered because of the rim in the 10-round Glock magazine. I loaded up one mag already, and getting that 17th and 18th round in the ProMag was a challenge. We got 10 in here so far. We'll get the next 8 in here and give it a try. Glock 44, Glock magazine, 10 round, Aguilas first. We're going to do everything at the orange 10 inch on the left here at 12 yards. There's a failure to feed for some reason. Alright, 18 round ProMag. Still the Aguila ammunition here. let us try the Glock magazine with the mini mags. $18 rounds of mini mag in the ProMag. Alright, I'm going to load up another magazine of each of the Aguila and the CCI mini mag, see how that holds up. So we're back inside. It was a little breezy day out there at the range. We're going to superimpose some range footage here. The audio is not all that good, so this is going to try to voice over some of that. Apologize in advance, even though I had furry socks on the microphones. The wind still was not all that great. So you can see we started out with a 10-round magazine, Glock magazine of the Aguilas or Aguilas, and did have some minor problems going through this whole thing, even with the Glock magazines. At least with the Aguilas, the mini mags ran for the most part, with a couple of minor exceptions. The mini mags ran quite well. The Aguilas in either of the two ProMags gave us some trouble. I ran them mainly out of number 1, but then we had trouble in number 1, switched over to number 2, and still had some problems. Although we did get one mag through just fine. It seems that they were not feeding. Did have a couple where the shot went off, the case ejected, but it didn't chamber around. That was kind of strange. And then even manually chambering around a couple of times gave us stovepipes, dented cases, and whatnot. Yet with, I think, one exception, the CCIs ran just fine. So all in all, we fired 3 ProMags of each, the Aguilas as well as the mini mags. So that's 54 rounds out of each. I had 14 Aguilas left over, put those in a mag, tried it, and still even had a couple of failures, even though the mag wasn't completely filled. And I think I had 4 CCIs left. So more than 70 rounds of the Aguila and more than 60 rounds of the mini mags. Is it a flawless system? No, the ProMags are not completely flawless. Issues on those, of course, are the stiffness of the spring. They did not really seem to free up at all during the few runs we put through it. I may end up taking the floor plate off and experimenting on cutting a couple of coils off the spring and see if that makes a difference. But again, this is a plinking gun, and for a plinking gun to have a failure every now and then, I can live with it. Although the 16-round mags in the Taurus TX22, we weren't having that problem. So all in all, I think it's a worthwhile expenditure to give you a little more capacity, so you don't have to reload quite as often. Certainly better than the 10-round Glock mags. I would hope this isn't the final iteration of the ProMag. I hope they can do something to make it a little easier to load, make the buttons a little larger, the spring a little bit less tense. I'm going to run some other types of ammunition through it, see if I get the issues like I had with the Aguila, since the CCI mini mags did run fine. But all in all, I'm okay. I'm not ecstatic, but I am okay. So if you like this video, we certainly do appreciate a thumbs up somewhere along the line, and please share the video. YouTube has not been consistent with monetization on videos, so the algorithm doesn't get them very high up in the rankings for the search engines very often. So anything you can do to share these videos, we certainly appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe, click on the notifications. Comments down below on this video are highly appreciated. Comments to anything else, put them to info@ridersrange.com. And that's just a relatively quick look at the ProMag 18 round mags for the Glock 44. Thanks for stopping in to Rider's Range.